to the wall. Can I play with your panty line? That used to be my favorite part of the song. Can I play with your panty line? Yes. So bring your ass over here, ho. Oh, the song is horrible. Oh, because I'm supposed to start my video now. What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica. We are down here. We are down here, girl. We are just, just down here talking. I was looking for some topics to talk about, and I came across this video that I had left a comment on, and I didn't save the video. I should start saving videos that I leave comments on because maybe y'all want to talk about them too. But this is one video. There's a show on Showtime, and I don't have Showtime, and it's called Couples Counseling, and um, there are people who are willing to allow cameras into their counseling session. And out of all the clips that I've seen, I have to say, I haven't seen a clip yet where the woman was kind of the case study. It's almost like the man is the case study. Every single clip that I saw is like the man's responses and how he shows up is what's being focused on in everything, because the way that they have been socialized to communicate, and then we get in close proximity with them, and it's very difficult, so you end up in couples counseling. But then the way that they've been socialized is just on display, right? And the women, how the women who are coupled with them and probably in familial relationships at work, if they doing it, and it's so crazy because if they're doing it with you, I guarantee they're doing it with any other woman in their life. And it might be like a variance of it. Like at work, it might not be as direct as it is directly indirect as it is with you at home, or with his daughter, or with his mother or sister, right? Or just with a random woman on the street, or a person he's calling like customer service, hearing a woman's voice, and then like the same exchange is just keeps happening because there's like no one to point it out. And if you do point it out, they do what this man is doing here, right? So it's okay. So I'm gonna let you hear them talk, how manipulators will often focus on correcting small errors in conversations to control the argument. Now listen.
The devaluation.
Wait, hold on.
Aware of how quickly you move to devaluation. Do you know that?
I think that I don't.
Hold on. Okay, I'm going to start it all over again because there are some tags that pop up on the screen, and I want to read those too. So I think I want to play it first and then read the tag so that you can hear it, and then we talk about it, right? Like, okay, so you know what I mean. So let's go, okay?
Of how quickly you move to devaluation. Do you know that?
I think that I don't care how quickly I move to devaluation.
Whether you care about it or not, I just
am I aware that sometimes I move quickly to devaluation? Yes.
But I'm also noticing how difficult it is to actually meet you. I notice even in the way I'm talking to you that it's very hard to get it right. Like when I try to say back to you what's going on, what I just heard, it's never right. And when you correct me, I can see why you're correcting me. I understand the nuance and where I missed the point.
That's very frustrating for me.
What I want to hear is, why is the moment where someone is not just right, why is that so devastating?
That's, I don't know that it's devastating. I think it's...
See, you did it just then. Right. Devastating is not quite the right word. And you're going to correct me for devastating, and you can't see that devastating might have like,
it is simply not devastating. I'm
just wondering if you're aware of how...
Okay, did you hear it? Like he did it to the therapist. Like it's like, and to me, honestly, this might not sound right to say. I believe that they're conscious that they're doing it because so many of them are, it's like this, it's like it's the same program. I tell you, they come out the factory, they're all the same. It's the same programming. It just looks different depending on the situation. He did it to the therapist. Y'all heard him? So, how manipulators will often focus on correcting small errors in conversations to control the argument.
Quickly, you move to devaluation.
Devaluation is making someone feel insignificant and not good enough, criticizing, ignoring, belittling to make them feel smaller.
Do you know that?
And then, quote, I don't care that I'm using devaluation, meaning he is all right with hurting his partner just to prove he's right. Okay? Got it?
I think that I don't care how quickly I move to do that.
Whether you care about it or not, I just
To him, conversations are not to understand and find common ground, it's to win and feel right.
Sometimes I move quickly to devaluation, yes.
But I'm also noticing how difficult it is to actually meet you.
People who have a wound of judgment will tend to nitpick, be overly critical, withhold love, keep score, and focus on who is right to feel better about themselves. It's for them to fulfill their ego and you to deny your intuition and you to deny what you know is happening and how you're describing what's happening is real. And what they're going to do is like literally nitpick, take a piece of the argument, pull it out, and then focus on that instead of focusing on like what I just said. And so it's like a way to control the argument.
I notice even in the way I'm talking to you that it's very hard to get.
When they focus on how someone else may be wrong, they can avoid being wrong and appear as perfect. Being wrong is their biggest trigger. A lot of people communicate like this, like, and it's, there's no communication with them because they're not, the goal is not to understand. The goal is I'm going to win. I'm winning. I need to win this, period.
Right? Like when I try to say back to you what's going on, what I.
To learn to associate right with good and wrong with bad, now in their own lives, they may constantly tell themselves, I should have known better, or why am I so stupid?
Heard, it's never right. And when you correct me, I can see.
Growing up, they might have been punished for making any mistake and suffered a lot from guilt and blame.
Why you're correcting me. I understand the nuance and where I missed the point.
His hyper focus on semantics is a way to control the conversation. That's why you get lost in the conversation with them and never resolve the root issue. You know how I tell y'all to get off the carousel? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm not about to do this with you because I know where you're going with this. And you about to spin this motherfucker like crazy. And then when I think I've gotten a little bit of ground, you're going to turn that motherfucker backwards and spin it backwards. And everything is lost to the point where you don't even know why you guys are in conversation right now. You forgot why. What is the point of why we're engaging with each other? And so you're now frustrated. You leave the conversation defeated, and they won. Ain't that crazy? But that's how a lot of people communicate, and you see it. You could see it. You could probably see it in your own lives. Let's go.
It's very frustrating for me.
What I want to hear is, why is the moment where someone is not just right? Mm-hmm.
In a healthy discussion, it's actually important to focus on the actual issue at hand rather than focus on semantics.
Just right? Why is that so devastating?
Some people struggle with the discomfort of being wrong and vulnerable, so they focus on small details to avoid dealing with the deeper emotional parts of the conversation.
I don't know that it's devastating. I think it's.
He proceeds to correct her again instead of taking the opportunity to self reflect on what she's asking. Like, you're not asking, it's almost like you have to figure out the right way to ask the question. And so you're always, this is when I say, like, when it gets to the point, like, and you're in relationship with somebody and you have to ask them a question and you have to be so specific and drill down to like every minute or possible detail that can be included in this piece of question. They're going to answer the question. It's almost like how lawyers have to ask questions to make sure they get the right answer. You have to ask a question a certain way. And some people do this in relationships, and it's all the time where you feel like you have to start being very detailed in every single thing, and still they'll be like, no, that's not what's happening. That's not, you got it wrong. That's not what's happening with me. And it's just like, what? So we're not going to even just, it's to avoid talking about themselves or even yielding to the fact that they might not be correct. Even like, just you might not be right. Like, and it's okay, because we're not all right all the time. He proceeds to correct her instead of taking the opportunity to self-reflect on what she's asking.
Just that. Right. Devastating is not quite the right word, and you're going to correct me on devastating, and you can't see that devastating might have like,
It is simply not devastating. Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Okay, now let's read some of the comments. Whose video is this? Who's the therapist? It's Dr. Ona Gerlich. The show is called Couples Therapy. It's on Hulu, YouTube TV, and Apple TV. When people are doing this, I say I'm getting off the carousel, because they're literally about to spin the carousel until you're so dizzy you don't even know the point of the initial conversation. That is why I say get off the carousel. So his initial response is, I don't care how quickly I move on to the evaluation. At this point, his partner needs to have a serious internal conversation about why she wants to be involved with someone who doesn't care about devaluing her as a partner. The nitpicking at terms being used suggests he isn't interested in resolving the issue. There's no interest in resolve. There's only interest in victory. That's it. That's it. You can tell she finally feels like you put into words, and he still isn't able to grasp it. He won't ever be able to stop deflecting, and I feel so sorry for this woman. To be honest, the therapist should have mirrored his word frustrating rather than adding devastating, but he still would have been wrong. All the female comments in this thread versus male comments are telling. Therapy only works if both parties feel they're being heard. Here it is clearly two women ganging up on a husband. But it's okay, because men always talk and are always in control. The therapist is projecting her own opinions and feelings into the conversation. Conflation of frustration with devastation, two vastly different words, and that is what a good therapist does. I think you should look further into this couple from the show. This is a very brief point in a time of a big picture. This has zero to do with feminism. He is an extremely controlling person. I'm not at all interested in arguing with people like this at all. Just break up. These guys can't unlearn this. They will never take accountability, usually avoidant or narcs. Cut your losses. Words have meaning. So if you are using the wrong word to describe his feelings, why should he accept it? Who wants to be told how they feel if it's inaccurate? But I can definitely understand how difficult a conversation would be to always have to be thorough. He could be autistic. I can recognize the way he gets caught on language. I get caught on it as well. And if a person changes the words used, it changes our conversation for the better. It's like you have to be like very like literal to the point. Let's listen here where he gets
correcting me. I understand the nuance and where I missed the point.
That's very frustrating for me.
What I want to hear is, why is the moment where someone is not just right, not just right, why is that so devastating?
I don't know. That's devastating. I think it's.
See, you did it just then. Right. Devastating is not quite the right word, and you're going to correct me on devastating, and you can't see that devastating might have like,
it is some.
like it's almost as though you don't understand that the nuance of the word, like you get so caught on like a very literal definition of the word and act like you being frustrated and thinking something is devastating, those two can go. But he's like, no, it's not quite devastating. Okay, it's frustrating. So maybe she should have said, okay, so frustrating. Why are you frustrated? Why is it so frustrating for you that someone doesn't get it right? Well, I'm not really quite frustrated. That's what would have been the next thing. He would have diminished that word as well, even though he just used it. Girl, let's read a couple more comments. Um I say to my guys, it might not be the right word, but if I ask if you're angry, actually asking if you're under the umbrella of anger, sad, confused. Right? It's almost like you don't have a thesaurus. Like you don't know that other words, or you don't know like any other synonyms, right? Like you have like you don't, it's almost like the word is it and that's it for the word. And it's just like, no, then how do you communicate? You cannot communicate like that. If I have to use the exact word and then you get hung up on the word, like that's not really, I mean, that can't not be applied all the time and throughout all conversations. I can see where things need to be specific, like literally specific, like when giving instructions, you know what I'm saying? Like, reading a recipe and measuring and stuff like that. Like you have to be specific. But I feel like in conversation, when you act like you can't understand the meaning of another word and you get hung up on the word and we're focused on the word, and it's just like, girl, that's okay. Okay, so what about the rest of it? What about the rest of it? Because I remember with my dad, I never get the answer to my why are you upset, because the question was never good enough in his eyes to unlock the answer. And how am I supposed to know the right word without being in your mind and saying it to me all on my own? Exactly. Using the word devastating here by her is what's called catastrophizing in an argument. It is used to gain the upper hand and used to cleverly prove her point, because he's not devastated and will defend that. To be honest, we already said that the therapist should have mirrored his word frustrating. He was frustrating to watch on this show, and I can see why she wants out. I can't imagine this as a peaceful existence. It's also why individuals need therapy alongside couples therapy. All right. So what do y'all think about that? I'll put the link to it in the description box. Oh my god, that's not really 30 minutes. Okay, I'm tripping. I can talk for a little while longer. Okay, let's see. So that was one of the first things that I saw. I don't know. Did somebody send that to me? Oh no, no, no. I left a comment. I left a comment on it. Oh, let me go to my saved. I did save some things. Girl, what is taking so long? I need to call the dispensary. That's what I need to do right now. RHOA newbie Brit Edie speaks on some fans being excited that Kenya was allegedly fired from Bravo over revenge porn allegations. What you put out will come back tenfold. Okay, so here is the conversation, and we'll read some of the comments because I left a comment. Oh my God. Why can't this? Okay.
So, I've personally met Kenya. Yeah. And I swear to God, the first day we were all in the room that I met Kenya, I could sense that grab a little shot for that one. Listen, we were having a conversation, and I could hear her and another person talking about you. And this is kind of my first time being around all the ladies. So I'm like, what is they were just teaming up on her. I saw this with my own eyes, right? But me not knowing everybody well enough, I didn't really say anything. I just kind of peeped the room. And then next thing I know, we're at an event. It's that person's event, and she chooses to make that event about Brit. Craziness, right? She wants to start a narrative about Brit. I was so mad because that day I was doing media, and I had just got on the carpet and told her, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. This is empowering women. And here you go and completely do the opposite. So now, karma is real. Fast forward, karma is real. My girl Brit will forever go down in history as the one that got the girl off the show. Hey, I said pretty much. I said it pretty much, and I feel like a lot of people are happy about that. I feel like the people that are her fans, when they see what really happened and how it played out, because this is just, it was diabolical. Sometimes you gotta remember the what you put out in some way somehow will come right back. It's tenfold. You will get back. Yes. Right. So karma is real. Yes. So, and we will see
karma
on
for
season
what?
16 how it unravels, and a lot of people are going to be shocked. And I did not anticipate this being my first season dealing with with everything that came along with this whole fiasco.
Is that her microphone making her sound like that?
I mean, this was a very intense season. Yeah, they were jealous, and y'all think. See, the thing is, people be thinking like celebrities. Oh, they so confident, they so happy. They are not always like that. The most insecure ones, and as soon as they see a threat, then they want somebody half their age, young. I mean, she was born. I mean, some are born in the 60s. For real? I didn't even realize she was that old. It is, 69. Oh my God. Yeah, like
they're too old to be acting that way.
Yeah, you would be acting that way. Or you would think if you're on a show like Housewives that you would have built an empire or been able to create some motion. But they didn't have see, that's what I just said. She didn't really have the motion before she started. So a lot of these women, they're not business women. They're not business women. They get on the show and they only make the show money. They're make
just reality stars.
Yes, they don't have real
They're
empires.
not entrepreneurs or business women.
Did she just say that about Kenya Moore? Girl, y'all are insane. You saying Kenya Moore didn't have motion before she joined RHOA?
They only make the show money. They're just reality stars. Yes, they don't have real. They're empires. Not entrepreneurs or business women. So I've personally met.
So let's read some of the comments. Shout out to Kimpire. I'm not a Kenya stan, but Kenya Moore was born January 24th, 1971, not the 60s. I tried looking up Britney's age, but she doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Is that shade, Phaedra? And your girl is going to be the reason the season flops. That's what I said. Now, hold on, Swoop. Not too much on my girl, Miss Kenya Summer Moore. I said, not them being giddy that you took out the big boss, but are you going to make RHOA better? Nene, then Kenya, ran RHOA. What the fuck are you goofy groupie heifers going to do? Make it better? You just wanted to take down the queen and then what? What y'all going to do with the show? What y'all going to do with the show? That's what I want to know. What you going to do?
Brittany, Edie,
What are you gonna do, Brittany Edie? Because why does it sound like she's talking through her nose like this? I don't understand it. Maybe it was the microphone because she's literally sounding like she's talking through her nasal cavity.
Girl, let me go make sure my nose is clean, honey. Girl, that's a lot. Let's read some of the comments. Bravo got to stop making fans of the show into housewives. But Kenya has way more accolades than anyone in that room. Kenya is a historical figure in Black history. Enough said. It's the two women hating on Kenya while calling her a hater. For me, the age shaming is so lame, especially when she looks better than the both of you combined by far. Girl, ain't nobody watching if Kenya ain't there. That's what I'm saying. You got her off the show, and then what? What y'all gonna do? What you gonna do?
Brittany?
What are you gonna do, girl? It was giving Kenya more hair care. This lady got her face reconstructed and age-shaming Kenya, a former beauty queen. What a joke. Kenya is jealous of any pretty girl that's not her. I can see her being a season 1 wonder already. Still Team Kenya. Ma'am, we don't know y'all. Kenya was the show. What fans are excited? I met Kenya and she gave me the biggest tip out of all the celebrities I've ever served. So I'm definitely Team Twirl. Say what? Let's see how much motion you get from this. Kenya was Kenya before Housewives. Exactly. Like, what are y'all talking about? She didn't have no motion. Who the fuck are y'all? And the only reason why we talking about y'all is because y'all was talking about Kenya. We don't know y'all. Who the fuck are y'all? Brittany Edie, we heard about you, girl. Hopefully y'all do something. Girl, you will see, you will soon learn how the game goes. Kenya is one of the best to do it out of all the franchises. By the way, calling her old when she looks better than most of the baddies out here is bananas. Y'all need Kenya more than Kenya needs y'all. Kenya was not fired. They suspended her. Folks had already seen your adult content. Like, be for real. We won't be seen because we won't be watching, and we don't care. It's entertainment TV. Bring Kenya back. Who the fuck said we was happy to have her replace Kenya? You? This is weird. This is comical. Love her or hate her, old or not. Nobody on that panel is seeing Kenya in look. That's why I'm saying, bitch, you could never come for Kenya's beauty. Girl, I don't give a fuck how old that bitch is. Never, to this day. From 1993 when she won the beauty pageant to today, can none of you hoes come for her looks. Ever. That's one thing you're not going to do. Ever. Team Kenya, girl, you just finished speaking about empowering woman, but you have so much hate for her. Goodbye. Next, and your homegirl will be on the chopping block if she can't carry the show like Kenya did. Exactly. What y'all gonna do with the show? What y'all gonna do? Not a damn thing. Y'all gonna be looking like RHOP with your first episode ratings at 600,000. What? 600,000? Girl. We'll see what they are next week after they count all the numbers, but that's what RHOP came through. That's y'all show. That's y'all show, honey. Let's see what else is happening. Let's go to I haven't been to the Jasmine brand in a minute. Let me go to the Jasmine brand, see what they got going on. Ugh. All right, let's see. Girl, that's crazy. I believe them. Say what? Dr. Dre sued by marriage counselor who says he was threatened by the producer after trying to save his marriage. Dr. Dre divorced his wife, Nicole Young, in 2021 and settled for $100 million. Now, Dr. Charles J. Sophie, a divorce counselor who worked with them, is suing Dr. Dre for $10 million, alleging harassment during the divorce process. Sophie claims he endured threats and intimidation from Dre over a year. The counselor claimed that the harassment included threats of physical violence. His frustrations that manifested themselves in the form of a nearly year-long sustained campaign, the suit continued. There were late-night texts, threats of intimidation and violence, and homophobic rhetoric. Now, this is a man. They said that this is a lawyer who is a man, right? So, who is accusing Dr. Dre and suing him for being violent towards him, right? It says harassment over a year. It says late night texts, threats of intimidation and violence, and homophobic rhetoric. I want to read some of the comments. I said there's a pattern of behavior. That's all I said. First of all, I'm just going to be honest. I think Dr. Dre he wants to be stuffed. I think he wants to be stuffed so desperately that he is violently angry that he has to perform hypermasculinity as a black man in society, that he has to be partnered with a woman. And goddamn, that bitch took all my fucking money and I don't even want to be with you bitches. I hate you bitches so much. I will close my fist up and punch you in the face like he did D Barnes, like he did Michelle A, like he did Nicole. He's so angry. Even the way that he talks, it's almost as if he's on the edge of an aneurysm. I've been saying that Dr. Dre is tick, tick, boom for a long time. And what happened to him a few years ago? Didn't he go into the hospital for an aneurysm? This is the result of not being able to live in your truth. A man who is so violently angry. Hey, Puff, a man who is so violently angry at women, but he truly wants to be stuffed and hates bitches and women and hoes and everything else. Hates them. So the fact that he can enact and turn that violence towards another man using homophobic rhetoric, I believe him. I believe him. Let's read some of the comments. I mean, that would definitely match his history with women. But did he put his hands on you? Child, this is becoming too much. He threatened to. But did he? This is a person who calls her page formidable black woman. His D Barnes karma is long overdue. Dre was trying to let that marriage crumble by any means. Don't save him. He don't want to be saved. This is suing and snitching season. Everybody want a bag. Money grab. That's how they get when they have money. Not surprise. Looking for a paycheck. Money grab. He should see the counselor because the marriage failed. Not only that, he should sue the counselor and ask that his license be stripped away. Another woman or a person with a woman's image profile picture. So this is just a post from 13 hours ago. There's only 20 comments on here, and I read most of them. They all are accusing this person of just wanting a money grab. When I tell you, especially if the person has money and they are male, it's almost like an automatic response to blame the victim. We live in that society that the victims are blamed first every single time. Every time they're blamed. Well, what did you do? They're blamed. You just want some money. He didn't do it, did he? That's my theory about Dr. Dre. I've held that theory for a long time. Like, even when you listen to him talk, it's almost like he's like about to bust. Like he's like a fuse is just going off. And that anger and that like rage and anger is always towards like an external person, typically a woman. Rolling Stone, let's see what they have here. If Rolling Stone is on it, baby. Dr. Charles Sophie filed a lawsuit Wednesday in Los Angeles with allegations Dre subjected him to systematic and malicious barrage of threats A psychotherapist in California is suing Dr. Dre for at least $10 million with allegations the rapper and business mogul subjected him to systematic and malicious barrage of unbearable harassment that left him wearing a bulletproof vest and fearing for his life. In a new lawsuit filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court, Dr. Charles Sophie alleges Dre, born Andre Young, hired him in 2018 to mediate the breakdown of his decades-long marriage to his now ex-wife, Nicole. Sophie says he worked diligently, independently, and fairly to help the couple resolve their disputes and cease communication with Dre when the pair reached a settlement in late 2021. The doctor says that about 14 months later, Dre started texting him out of the blue with allegations the doctor had somehow acted improperly, allegations the doctor denies. Rather than treating the mediation process as an opportunity for healing, Young decided to take his frustrations about the mediation out on Dr. Sophie. Frustrations that manifested themselves in the form of a nearly year-long sustained campaign of late-night texts, threats of intimidation, and violence and homophobic rhetoric, the lawsuit states. In a statement, Dr. Dre's lawyer, Howard King, tells Rolling Stone that Dre previously filed a confidential complaint against Sophie with the Osteopathic Medical Board of California last year, seeking to get Sophie punished for his dereliction of duties and incredible incompetence. The complaint seeks revocation of Dr. Sophie's license to provide mental health counseling to needy patients. In gross violation of all applicable standards of care, Dr. Sophie inserted himself into a contentious divorce while he simultaneously treated not only Mr. and Mrs. Young, but their children. He was terminated when it was revealed that he was encouraging one of their children to take sides against Mr. Young, even encouraging his son to go to press false allegations in order to force a financial settlement that he recommended. King's claims in the settlement, Dr. Sophie has consistently rebuffed medical board attempts to investigate these claims, but has now filed this desperate suit while the noose of the medical board is tightening. According to Sophie's 22-page lawsuit signed by his lawyer Frost and obtained by Rolling Stone, Sophie says Dr. Dre sent him an over-threatening text around 10 p.m. on February 16, 2023, in which he claimed someone told him something disturbing and that Sophie was going to have to pay for that. Sophie says he replied, "Excuse me?" And shortly after that, Dre allegedly responded, "Yes, you, and you're a piece of shit." Sophie says he tried to remain calm and attempted to defuse the situation. He says he responded the next day with, "Good morning. I have no idea what you're referring to and would make myself available to discuss any time. Thank you." He says Dr. Dre doubled down with a follow-up message that read, "You fucked up. Just so you know, I love being underestimated." Sophie says Dr. Dre falsely accused him of trying to turn an unidentified third party against him. He says Dre wrongfully accused him of acting improperly during the divorce mediation. There is no truth behind this baseless and far-fetched allegations, the new lawsuit states. Dr. Sophie tried to let the threats go and not pursue them. Young, however, would not let it go. According to the complaint, Dre sent another text on March 5th, 2023, that read, "What happened, Doc? I thought you wanted to talk. Cat got your tongue? You're going to have to give me a written apology. If not, I'm moving forward. I'm not playing. Trust me." Sophie claims that in June 2023, Dre tried to force him into unlawfully disclose confidential information obtained during a therapy session with a third party. Sophie says he refused and again tried to stay calm and hope Young's threats, harassment, and intimidation would stop. On August 4th, 2023, he sent yet another disturbing and chilling text message in which he allegedly threatened. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. The lawsuit states Sophie claims that the particularly sinister text left him more fearful for his life than ever before. The doctor claims that in February 2023, immediately after the initial texts were sent, he received a strange call from the security guard at his gated community saying individuals claiming to be the FBI agents were requesting to be led to Dr. Sophie's residence to talk to him. The doctor says he believes the people were impersonating agents to gain access to his residence and send an unmistakable message that Sophie wasn't safe even in the sanctity of his home. Dr. Sophie lives in constant fear. He wears a bulletproof vest anytime he steps foot outside, is afraid to leave home, and is constantly looking over his shoulder. The egregiousness of Young's persistent harassing behavior has compelled Dr. Sophie to seek redress and protection. The lawsuit states nobody should live in constant fear, but Dr. Sophie does, ironically, for no other reason that he tried to help Young to resolve his own family's conflict. The lawsuit included claims for civil harassment, threats of violence based on his sexual orientation, and a court order prohibiting contact. He's seeking compensatory damages and at least 10 million in punitive damages to be decided at trial. Oh, he wants to go to trial. So I read the whole Rolling Stone article, child. So there it goes. Sued for $10 million. What do y'all think? Tell me what y'all think. Sounds like the man, he says he's saying that the man was talking his children into like turning against him and going and giving false allegations. False allegations about what? Their home life? Like how would that be false? And then like, you never know, like I said, you never know what people are saying, like I've had a therapist warn me to get out of a relationship. So I can see a therapist trying to talk a person and encourage them to take the proper measures to be restored. I can see that. I mean, isn't that the progress of the therapist to make sure that their patient is restored? And now what? You want to know what was discussed? You want to know who this, like, why are you harassing this man? Why are you sending text messages? I'm sure the therapist has text messages. I mean, like, proof. So saying again, because the person has money, like, even though and we have documented Dr. Dre's violence towards people, specifically women. And then when you hear that someone is suing him for the same type of behavior, now you're like, oh, they just want money. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know what. And it's just because I don't know. I think there's just this love for people who have money. Like, you want to feel like they're relatable to you, so you will like excuse their bad behavior because, like, I understand, like, man, don't worry about that, they're just trying to get your money. It's almost like you're like, they're chummy. No, we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll get some more on this story. Dr. Dre sued by his former marriage counselor. All right, that's it. Oh, yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm going to come back for another video. Take care of each other. Let me know what you think about what we talked about, the conversation, the man devaluing in the conversation. Let me know what you think about that. I'll put a link to the video, but it is from Couples Therapy on Showtime. And they said Apple and YouTube, I think. So you can check it out there. But that's all I have for this video, because this video is not really long. It's kind of long because anyways. So take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.